have a top 10 wheat stocks 2019 video that I prepared for you guys. Top 10 wheat stocks 2019 coming up right here, right now, live on Rich TV Live. Who do you got in your top 10? I'm about to tell you who are in my top 10. Top 10 marijuana stocks 2019. Here we go. In number 10. Who could possibly be number 10? In number 10 with spot with 20.8 million in quarterly sales, we have Green Thumb. Green Thumb at $15.83 had 20.8 million in quarterly sales. The symbol in Canada is GTII, and the symbol in America is GTBIF. Green Thumb, when I look at their revenue and I look at their resources, wow. So I'm looking at their analyst rating on Webull, and it's an 85% buy, 85.71% buy on Webull, and a 14.29% strong buy on Webull. And the other thing that really got my attention about Green Thumb is their financial statements. Green Thumb generated 28 million in the quarter. However, they did show a $9 million loss. But really what got my attention is the 568 million in assets that they're showing. Green Thumb has 568 million in assets on their balance sheet, 97 million in liabilities. So they have almost 6 times the assets, between 5 to 6 times the assets than they do liabilities. That to me is extremely bullish. I believe that this company is highly undervalued in the sense that nobody really knows who this company is. Nobody really talks about it. And it's very underappreciated and underexposed. And they're currently in number 10 in the world in weed stocks in 2019 in quarterly sales. In number 9 spot with 21.5 million in quarterly sales, in number 9, CWeb. Now, CWeb has been an absolute giant. Charlotte's Web is the biggest and the best CBD company in the world. They generated 21.5 million in quarterly sales. The symbol in America is CWBHF. The symbol in Canada is CWEB. 21.5 million in quarterly sales for CWeb. And Webull has them as a 71.43% buy and a 28.57% strong buy. So CWeb still looks like there's huge upside there. Currently trading at $19.35. It was down 1.38% today in Canada. Now, when we look at their revenues, the thing that stands out to me is that they had 29 million in revenue and the net income was 4.3 million. So they're actually turning a profit. And they have 189 million in assets and only 24 million in liabilities. So I think CWeb is poised to go higher. I think CWeb has a great future, and I believe that CWeb is the biggest and the best CBD company in the world. Charlotte's Web is world renowned for their CBDs. They are the biggest and the best CBD company in the world. Charlotte's Web, if you're watching, Rich Hemp RX, we have our own CBDs. We would love to work with you guys. We're producing 50 liters a day out of Phoenix, Arizona, and we would love to work with you guys. You guys are the Michael Jordan of CBD companies. Charlotte's Web is the biggest and the best CBD company in the world. In number 8th spot with 22 million in quarterly sales, in number 8th spot, a company that I personally took a position in this week and a company that I want to accumulate more. I brought this much, much lower and they've been on an epic run and they actually hit a 52-week high this week. And they are number 8 on my list. MediPharm Labs. MediPharm Labs is a $6.46 in Canada. It's up 182% in the last year alone. It was up 1.73% today, and it hit a high of around $7.36 this week. Webull has them as a 50% buy and a 50% strong buy. So they're very bullish on Webull. And the thing I like about this company is that their revenue has grown exponentially. They just did a deal with Kronos Group. So MediPharm Labs just did a deal with Kronos Group where they're going to be able to do $30 million a year in business for Kronos Group, up to $60 million a year. So I believe that this is going to be a great partnership for Labs. And if they're doing 22 million right now a quarter, and they have an additional 30 million a year to add to that, if we have to chop that up into quarters, that's an additional, 7.5 million a quarter. So if we add an additional 7.5 million a quarter to their already 22 million a quarter, that puts Labs at about 30 million a quarter. Now, if they do 60 million a year with Kronos Group, then that's an additional 15 million a quarter, which will take their number from 22 million to 37 million a quarter. I believe Labs is undervalued. Even at $6, amongst their peers, I believe Labs is undervalued. Now, a lot of different things can determine whether or not the stock goes up or down. Labs has been on an epic run. So typically when you go up, you're going to get shorted. Labs is being heavily shorted. So I want to make sure everybody knows, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for the likes. Remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Always do your own due diligence. Always do your own research before you invest in anything that we talk about here on Rich TV Live, okay? I'm bringing you the top 10 quarterly sales marijuana stocks in 2019. Number 10 was Green Thumb. Number 9 was CWeb. Number 8 is MediPharm Labs at 22 million a quarter. And I believe Labs has higher to go. And I am a shareholder of Labs. And I own a few of the stocks on this list. I'd like to have them all. And maybe I will. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Now, in number 7, a company I talked to you guys about a lot this week is OGI. OGI, Organigram. Organigram is 7th in the world in quarterly sales at $26.9 million. Now, I like a lot about Organigram. They are really ramping up. They are ramping up their production. They are big into CBDs. They're going to be big in edibles. They are positioned across Canada. They're going to be growing internationally. So many opportunities for Organigram to get bigger and to get better. Organigram is number 7 in the world right now. I remember when Organigram was having issues with their crops because they had pesticides in their crops, and the stock was under $2. And nobody believed that Organigram would be where they are today. And look at them now. They're an absolute giant. An absolute giant. They just graduated to the NASDAQ this week and trading currently in Canada at $10.09, up 3.7% today. And Organigram is a 54% buy on Webull, a 9% hold, and a 36% strong buy. And if you look at their financial forecast, it's pretty impressive. They actually had 29 million in losses in net loss. Sorry, they had 29 million in net income in the last quarter, 26.9 million in quarterly sales in Q2 2019, but they did have a loss of 6 million in Q2 2019 after having a net income of 29 million in Q1 2019. So stay tuned, because I believe OGI will be profitable and they are going to be an absolute giant. They have 376 million in assets. They have 376 million in assets, 99 million in liabilities. So they have more than 3 times the assets than they do the liabilities. So their balance sheet looks extremely strong. Organigram is number 7 in the world in marijuana stocks in 2019. And in number 6, and this is going to surprise a lot of you guys because they've been getting beat up. They've been getting beat up bad. In number 6 in the world in quarterly sales is MedMan. MedMan is trading at $2.93. Yet they are 6th in the entire world for quarterly sales for marijuana stocks. MedMan has to be one of the most undervalued cannabis companies in the world right now. So if you're a fan of MedMan, I think you need to really look at these prices and let's watch and see how low it's going to go and see if we can position ourselves in this 6th best revenue quarterly sales generator in the entire world, trading at $3. OGI is over 10. They make less than them. Labs is in number 8. They made less quarterly sales than them. CWeb is in number 9. They made less quarterly sales than them. Green Thumb is in number 10. They made less quarterly sales than them. Green Thumb trading at $15. CWeb trading at $19. Labs trading at $6. Organigram trading at $10. And MedMan trading at $2.93, making more than all of them. Making more than all of them. MedMan may be the best opportunity in the entire sector. And it's crazy because they keep going lower. So let's see how low they're going to go. And this could be an opportunity of a lifetime for someone to position themselves before cannabis gets legalized in America. Because once cannabis gets legalized in America, once MedMan cleans up some of their issues that's holding them back currently, and maybe get some new management in place and get a good plan in place to really start getting this thing going in the right direction, the revenue is there. The share structure is there. The management is lacking. The management is hurting this stock. The management issues is hurting this stock. MedMan at 29.9 million in quarterly sales, number 6 in the world, trading at $2.93. Wow. In Q2 2019, they have a reported 40 million in quarterly sales. But the issue that I see here is they're reporting 88 million in losses, a minus 88 million in net income for MedMen, which is clearly going to be driving down the stock. This is what's driving down the stock, is these massive losses. They had an $85 million quarterly loss last quarter, and now they had another $88 million quarterly loss in this quarter. This is what's clearly hurting this company. Now, while that's being said, they have 636 million in assets. 636 million in assets for MedMen. Can you guys believe that? And they're trading at under $3 and 267 million in liabilities. Last quarter in Q1, their assets were 479 million. Their liabilities was 249 million. This quarter, their assets grew to 636 million. Their liabilities grew to 267 million. So their liabilities grew by 18 million, but their assets grew by over 150 million in the quarter. And this is a stock trading under $3. So keep MedMen on your watch list, keep them on your radar. Amongst all of their peers, they are the most undervalued stock. Now, in number 5, generating 32 million in quarterly sales is Curaleaf. Curaleaf is an absolute giant. Absolutely love Curaleaf. They have been a darling, up 41% in the last year, 2.97% today at $12.15. Curaleaf has the potential to be one of the biggest cannabis companies in America. They are a 57% buy on the analyst rating from Webull and a 42% strong buy from Webull. And if we look at the financial forecast, for Cura looks pretty strong. Their balance sheet looks strong. Everything looks good with Curaleaf. They have the potential to be one of the biggest and one of the best, and they're currently rated 5th in the entire world in quarterly sales for marijuana stocks. CURLF in America, CURA in Canada, Cura number 5 in the world for marijuana stocks for quarterly sales. In number 4 is CXXI on this list. No, they're not on this list, but CXXI is a company that is up and coming, even though they've been getting shorted and getting obliterated. In number 4, Trulieve. Trulieve is an absolute giant, another major player in the CBD space. Trulieve at $16.40 is up 64% in the last year. And Trulieve at Webull is a 75% buy, a 25% strong buy, and they generated 35.2 million in quarterly sales, which puts them in number 4 in the world for quarterly sales. TCNNF in America and TRUL in Canada, Trulieve, they are an absolute giant. Their revenue is just growing quarter over quarter. Their income statement has been growing quarter over quarter. And their balance sheet looks really strong with 221 million in assets and 78 million in liabilities. So they have more than 2.5 times the assets than they do the liabilities. So the assets look very strong and the balance sheet looks very strong for Trulieve Cannabis. The number 4 marijuana stock in the entire world with 35.2 million in quarterly sales. Now, in number 3, GW Pharma. This is a new company on the list. These guys are an absolute giant. They are trading at $183 a share. GW Pharma is trading at $183 a share. They generated 39.2 million in quarterly sales. This is the first time they're even in the top 10. Their revenue came out of nowhere. They're a 61.54% buy on Webull and a 30.77% strong buy on Webull. Their balance sheet has been growing exponentially, and they have 749 million in assets and 109 million in liabilities. So 7 times the assets compared to the liabilities. So their balance sheet looks extremely strong, and GW Pharma is at $183. $183 for GW Pharma. Now, in number two, Aurora Cannabis. Now, Aurora Cannabis obviously is the most popular cannabis company for millennials. It is one of the most talked about cannabis companies in the world. It's priced right now at $11 in Canada, priced at around $8 in America, up 32% in the last year. And if you look at Aurora Cannabis, you can see they are a 46% buy on Webull, a 30% strong buy, a 15% hold, and a 7% underperform. So there's a little bit of weakness right now in Aurora. They have been trending down a little bit lately. Their quarterly sales of 65.1 million puts them second on the planet. And the problem here with Aurora is that in the last quarter, they showed 239 million in net income losses. And then in Q3 2019, they showed 160 million in net income losses. 160 million. So if you're a positive person, you're going to say, well, the net income went from 239 million loss to $160 million loss. So I think that that's a positive thing. A $79 million increase from your losses. There has been a prediction by the management of Aurora that they will show a positive net income in Q4 2019. It's going to be very difficult for them to do that, but they are projecting that they will be able to do that. You're projecting that Aurora will go down lower? Frank, you've been holding Aurora for a year, but you still made money with them. Yeah, I think it definitely could go lower. It definitely could go lower, especially right now going into the summertime. I think most people are thinking that the markets are going to go down for the next 2 months. There will be sneak attacks, but we definitely will see a slowdown in the volume. We'll definitely see a slowdown in the liquidity. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go down. I wouldn't be surprised to see everything go down. And at some point, there will be an explosion and there will be a resurrection. That's just the way this market goes. This market always operates like that. The one thing that really strikes me with Aurora is that they have 5.5 billion in assets and 1.16 billion in liabilities. So they are extremely strong with a very strong balance sheet, not as strong as Canopy Growth, but they are pretty close to Canopy Growth as far as assets. Now, those assets are not nearly as cashed up as Canopy Growth is. Canopy Growth is very cashed up, but 5.5 billion in assets and 1.1 billion in liabilities is pretty remarkable. There's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing to be embarrassed of, right? So Aurora's numbers look pretty good too. And 65.1 million in quarterly sales puts them number 2 in the world. And nobody's even close. Like GW Pharma is at 39.2 million. TrueLeaf is at 35.2 million. CureLeaf is at 32 million. Aurora's at 65 million. So Aurora is way ahead of everybody else. But the one company that I think could catch them is GW Pharma, because they kind of jumped on this list out of nowhere. So I believe the way they're trending, we could see their number really grow. I think we could see GW Pharma like really grow. There's a very good chance of that. Yeah, TGIF is so cheap and they make tons of money. Yeah, Afria had a monster day today. Congratulations to anyone who benefited from Afria. They had a huge move today, up 14%. Congratulations to everybody who took advantage of that. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for your likes. Thank you guys for being here on a Sunday. Sorry, on a Sunday, on a Friday. I'm already thinking Sunday. Oh my God. I'm thinking Sunday because I'm already thinking about the markets. My mind is on the markets and I got these 10 stocks and guess who's number 1? I'm going to tell you who's number 1 with a song. You guys ready for this? I have a song for you guys because I made Ill Kid put a song together for you guys about this company being number 1. And the revenue here and the quarterly sales at 83 million are second to none. Thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate you guys. T-God will blow up when they start making money. I do own MedMen. And I'm going to buy more MedMen. Canopy Growth is number 1. Canopy Growth is number 1 in the world. Number 1 in the world is Canopy Growth, 83 million. Canopy Growth with 83 million in quarterly sales is number 1 in the galaxy. Number 1 in the world in quarterly sales, and their balance sheet is just so unbelievable. For a company that's only been in business for like 5 years, I have never seen anything like Canopy Growth. Canopy Growth is in a league of its own. Nobody is on their level. Nobody. Canopy Growth currently at $44 in America, CGC, and Webull has them as a 16% strong buy, 44% buy, 33% hold, and a 5% underperform. It is 76% bullish and 24% bearish. And let's look at their revenue. Let's look at their revenue and financials. So 6.34 billion on their balance sheet in assets, 1 billion in liabilities. Aurora's not that far. Aurora's actually not that far. Aurora really isn't that far. That's interesting to me. So Canopy Growth at 6.34 billion in assets and 1.04 billion in liabilities, 83 million in quarterly sales, CGC in America, WEED in Canada. They are number 1 in the world, number 1 in the galaxy. These are the top 10 marijuana stocks in 2019. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're winning. I hope you're watching. This is your boy Rich from Rich TV Live. I'm out. Peace. Canopy Growth is number one. Number 10 is Green Thumb. Number 9 is CWeb. Number 8 is MediPharm Labs. Number 7 is Organigram. Number 6 is MedMan. Number 5 is Curaleaf. Number 4 is TrueLeave. Number 3 is GW Pharma. Number 2 is Aurora Cannabis. And number 1 is Canopy Growth, the top 10 marijuana stocks in 2019 in quarterly sales right now. Thanks for watching. It's true. Your boy Rich from Rich TV Live, and we out. Peace.